Hey, 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 how is it going again, Guardians? LVnative here with another Destiny video for you. Today, we are going to be diving deep into the Sunbreaker subclass, and I'm going to show you exactly the way I like to run mine in order to wreak as much havoc in the Crucible as possible. But, before we get into that, let's go ahead and take a look at
the feature comment of the day.
And today's comment comes to us from Jayhawk126, and it says, "Can my comment be featured? Because I am level 32 in Destiny." You know what, Jay? Sure. Why not? There you go. And remember, guys, if you want to be featured as the comment of the day, all you got to do is smack a like on this video and drop a comment in the section below, and I just might pick yours to be the next featured comment of the day. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at this build. Right at the top, you can see I have got my armor and recovery very high, and my agility is low. Especially with Titans, you do not need a lot of agility, as you can Titan skate to make up for that lack of mobility and still be the fastest character in the game. So, starting things off with our grenades. You have a fusion grenade, an explosive grenade that causes bonus damage when attached to its target. Now the explosive grenades, you know them, you love them, and you love to hate them. Those are just simple stick, attach, target, dies. As simple as it gets, but also very effective. So, because of that, it is easily one of my favorite ones to run when going into the Crucible, is I can just reliably get those sticks, get out of harm's way, and get the kill and move on. Next up, you have a thermite grenade, a grenade that sends forward a burning line of fire. Now the thermite grenade is pretty interesting, and it can be used to wall off an entire area fairly effectively, and just into a choke point, stopping people from pushing in. It's pretty good at stalling out enemy pushes. So if you're in capture control points and stuff like that, and you're on a map with a lot of kind of long, narrow alleyways, this is not a horrible one to run, and you can zone a lot of people off. You know, people are coming in, they're going to think twice about trying to run through that door. While they're doing that, you know, you can reposition on them and stuff like that. It's very, very effective if used in the right ways. Just don't expect to get a whole lot of kills off of it. And last up, we have the incinerator grenade, a grenade whose explosion catches enemies on fire, causing additional damage over time. Now the incinerator grenade is pretty self-explanatory. You're just going to get it close to them, let it blow up, and it will catch people on fire over a fairly large range, and is really good to help initiate pushes into choke points. So like say you had people over here that were, you know, pinning us down, I can literally just kind of lob a grenade over there, bounce them back, finish them off if I need to. At any rate, if I don't get a kill from it, it is at least going to give some covering fire for people who they might have been shooting at, say up there or something. So it's a really good grenade to throw into choke points like that and just do a lot of damage to a lot of people, maybe even pick up a couple of kills. All three grenades here are very viable, but I prefer the fusion grenade. I just like to know that if I aim it right and I stick it, I get the kill no matter what. Moving on to our jump, the lift. You can either go with increased height, upgrades lift to carry you higher, increased control, upgrade lift for better directional control while in the air, or catapult. Gives you that little launch of momentum when you first go ahead and activate it. There's a couple of decent ones, but honestly, just go with increased control. You want to learn how to Titan skate, and when you're using increased control, you're going to get the most momentum out of that. So go ahead, learn how to Titan skate, click on increased control, and don't think twice about it. And for our super, the Hammer of Saul. Summon a flaming hammer and wreak destruction down upon your enemies. You can go with either Forge Master, throw more hammers, and hammers cause bigger explosions. So let's go ahead and take a look at exactly how many more hammers we can throw with Forge Master on. So first up, I am going to do one with, we'll say, Sun Charge equipped, so we don't have Forge Master, and let's see how many we can get in one super. Alright guys, so let's see what we can do here. Alright, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so I was able to get 5 solid hammers in with a split second of time left over. So our number to beat is 5. If it only gives us 6, probably not worth it. So let's just wait and see what happens. Alright, so now we are going to equip Forge Master, where we throw more hammers. I get that they do bigger explosions, but I really want to know how many more hammers we can get for this. So, we're all set up, our super is charged back up, let's go ahead and count them. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, there's our 5th one, 6th, and okay, we can get a full 2 extra hammers. Definitely not a bad option. A lot of people kept telling me it was only 6, but I was pretty sure you could get 7 out of it. And I just want to get some video to show you you can get 7 hammers, although that's spamming the hammers indefinitely. You're not going to be doing that in a fight. You're going to be finding your next target and then hitting them. So in actual practice, you might get 1, maybe 2 more hammers than you would have, but it's still a very decent one to run. So we know what Forge Master does. Let's look at Sun Charge. Press R1 during your Hammer of Soul to hurl yourself forward. Enemies in your path explode, chaining fiery damage to other enemies. This is a pretty fun one to use, I am not going to lie. In fact, I think it is the best option of your 3, but let's go ahead and take a quick look at it. So normally when you activate your super, all you can do to hopefully kill people is just chuck hammers at them. But another option is to go ahead and equip this, and you will be able to actually get quite a few kills with this Sun Charge. I've been able to, well, let me just go ahead and pop it and show you how it looks. So we got our super going. Now if I hit R1, I actually hurl myself forward. You can get some insane mobility like that. If you got the Twilight Garrison, you're Titan skating around and doing that, you can actually sneak up and close the gap on people very effectively. And I have found it actually much more beneficial to add that into my weaponry instead of going with the extra hammers. I want to be able to kill people point blank range if I have to, or I can at least use that to close the gap significantly on people, along with my Twilight skating and Twilight Garrison here, and get myself in position to throw some hammers and really cause some damage. So because of the extra mobility it gives you, and the fact that you can just point blank kill someone instantly if they get in front of you, this is by far my favorite one to run of the 3. Your third option is your Scorched Earth. Ignite the world, creating sunspots everywhere your Hammer of Soul impacts. Now this is not bad, and it works really well if you plan on running a Firekeeper build. So while standing in your sunspots, you gain an overshield and your Hammer of Soul lasts longer. So that's not my style of play when I'm using my Titan. I like to always be on the move. So because of that, Scorched Earth doesn't, give me that good of an impact, but it can still be used to great effect. Again, control mats, an objective, choke points where you have a lot of people that you're either trying to stop them from pushing through. This can work extremely well, and I've seen people put it to great use. Alright, so now let's take a look at this in action. So imagine people are coming through here out of their spawn and you want to shut them down. You just create a couple sunspots here, maybe actually kill 1 or 2 people. They're going to have a really hard time trying to push up through all of that mess, and you and your team can be gunning them down while they're running for their lives. So it's very effective as well. In fact, I've seen people run this with the Sunkeeper and just throw those hammers, run into their own sunspots, and they become almost gods while they're like that, and they can become very, very difficult to kill. So that is another option. It's just not what I like to run for this particular build, but mess around and try it. You might actually like it. So you can run whichever one that you like here: Scorched Earth, Sun Charge, Forge Master. We are going to go with the Sun Charge though, as I really love the extra mobility that gives me, and it gives me the ability to kill someone in case they come around a corner right in front of me without me having to worry and panic and throw a hammer or anything. They're just instantly dead. I love using this with this build, and you probably will as well. For your Sunstrike, your melee, you can either go with Melting Point, burn away your target's defenses. While burning, targets are weakened to both you and your allies. Very fun one to run, guys, especially in PvE and raid boss situations. It's almost like having another tether on your team to do some extra damage. It's not that effective in PvP, but in PvE, this is a very viable option. Thermal Vent. Sunstrike releases a solar explosion on hit. Kills will create sunspots that damage enemies inside. Again, if I was running with the Firekeeper build right here, this would be the melee that I choose to go with. Since we're not doing that with this build, we are going to go ahead and actually equip Stroke the Forge. Reduce Sunstrike cooldown. Getting a killing blow with the Sunstrike instantly recharges it. With this, I find that I actually have my Sunstrike up almost all match, because a lot of times I'm just using a melee to finish somebody off, not to initiate on them. Maybe with a shotgun hit and then I go to finish with a melee, something like that. And if you use it in that fashion, it will do extra damage because it's the actual Sunstrike and not your normal melee, and it instantly recharges it if you get the killing blow. So This is a very cool one to run, even in some PvE aspects, but especially in PvP, I just think you get the most bang for your buck with it. As far as your codex goes, you can go ahead and equip it any way you like. I prefer to have my armor and recovery pretty much be as high as I can, so because of that, I go with Titan Codex 1 and Titan Codex 5. However, adjust it as you see fit. If you want a little bit more agility, you don't think recovery is quite that important, you can mix this up. Just, go with what you like. For this build and my playstyle, I'm going to be running though with 1 and 5 to get the most armor and recovery that I can. In this column here, you can either run with Flame Seeker. Your Hammer of Soul will alter its flight path to seek out your enemies. Flame-seeking fiery hammers. What could be awesome about that? Answer is everything. Only problem is this sounds a lot better on paper than it is in practice. While it will alter the flight of your hammers a little bit, it's not like true tracking or anything like that. It used to be very broken. When this first got released with this subclass, Flame Seeker was the way to go because it would literally arc around corners sometimes and get the kill for you. It doesn't do that anymore. Bungie has significantly dialed down how much it tracks, and now because of it, it's kind of a shell of its former self. Because of that, I can't recommend running it. Next up, you have Explosive Pyre. Enemies felled by your hammer explode, chaining fiery solar damage to others. This is a very acceptable one to run, and I used to run it all the time when I'm running my Titan, Sunbreaker in PvP. Is bigger explosions with my hammers awesome, and it could also chain damage to nearby people in case you had a group of people. Fantastic. The only reason I don't recommend it now is because of how much I've grown to love Fleet Fire. Now with Fleet Fire, your enemies that are felled by your fire grant you bonus agility and reload speed, and it stacks up to 3 times. This gives you an insane amount of added mobility. Now notice it says felled by your fire. Not from your grenade, not from your hammers, just by any fire-based ability. So your melee, your grenades, any of these, of course your super, will activate Fleet Fire and give you additional agility and reload speed. Nothing could be better than that when you pop your super and you get a kill or two, and now you're having to, search around the map as fast as you can with our Titan skating, with the armor choices that we make, and the way that we run our build. You will have a lot of extra agility in order to hunt down that next target very quickly. For your final column here, we could run with Simmering Flames. When your super energy is full, grenade and melee abilities recharge twice as fast. This is absolutely hilarious to run in PvE, as I always am alternating between killing people with my Sunstrike and then throwing grenades on them and killing them that way, and you get to alternate back and forth. You never use your super, you can, but you lose this ability when you do, but it can just be a load of fun. Go ahead and try it out. If we're looking to get sweaty though, this is not the one we're going to run. We are going to actually run with Cauterize. Enemies brought down by your fire regenerate your health. Again, this doesn't say with your super, or with your grenade, or with your melee. It's with any fire ability can cause this to proc, and can be immensely helpful you in order to get your health back up when you do an engagement. You got your, you pop your super, you go running in, you and 2 other guys get into it. They hurt you a little bit, but you kill them. As soon as you kill them, bam, you're back to full health again, and you're ready to take on the next engagement without having to wait for your health to regen. It is fantastic. Sadly, it doesn't seem to proc every single time or when you really need it from time to time, but it still procs enough for you to get a lot of great value out of this. Firekeeper, again, if we were running the Sunspot build, this would be the ones we choose hand down, but since we're not focusing on sunspots, we are going to run with Cauterize. Alright, as far as your armor choices go, for our Sunbreaker, do not even worry about any of the helmets. For your gauntlets, you got one interesting choice. You could run with the Immolation Fists, which grant you Explosive Pyre, so you could have that equipped for free. That is not a bad way to go, and I've seen people make good use of it. Not what we're going to run for this build, only because in this build we are going to be running with the Twilight Garrison. Yes, the ability to give a dodge while mid-air in any direction. Once you learn to master the movement with this, I still am definitely not a master with it, but I'm getting quite good. And it gives you so many more options when it comes to navigating around the map that you never even thought were possible. You combine the mobility you get with this with the speed you get from your Titan skating, plus not to mention, any enemies felled by our fire gives us more speed as well. you will be tearing across maps and closing distances very quickly. Because of that, when I'm wearing this, a lot of times, I know I've got a sniper equipped over there, but a lot of times I will run with a shotgun and just, try to get up close and in their face, weaken them or kill them with a shotgun. If I don't kill them, finish up with a melee. It instantly recharges that melee, and I've got a speed boost in order to take on the next person. It's really fun, and it synergizes really well together. Another option you could run through with it, you could go with the Chest of Alpha Loot Buy if you're doing trials and you were worried about quick revives. And if you're just not comfortable, getting the most out of that movement and you're not in trials, throw on the Armentarium. There is nothing wrong with this, and this is my favorite, just all around go-to exotic to wear, when my Titan is in play. And the main reason is it just does everything well for you. Your special ammo or heavy ammo, for one, regardless of which one you pick, you're going to be maxed out with it. You do not need to worry about having 2 pieces of armor that give you, say, rocket launch or ammo. You can just do heavy ammo. You don't have to worry about that. It takes care of it quite well. This one also has void recovery. Not bad. I wish it had the solar armor. I actually might use needles to re-roll this in order to give you even more armor when you're running this particular build. So, not a bad option as well. This one's got the intellect and discipline, and that's going to be a theme, as I want to be able to have max tier 5 intellect and discipline up with this build. I want my grenades and supers coming back as quick as possible. In the final addition to this, we are going to run with the Memory of Jolder, and this removes your sprint cooldown penalty. This works so well with Titan skating, as you do not have to worry, in between little bursts that you're going to lose your sprint and have to wait a couple seconds. It is noticeably different. If you're used to Titan skating and haven't run the Memory of Jolder, try it out and just see how much more agile you are, because you instantly don't have to worry about any type of sprint cooldown happening to you. You can instantly start Titan skating one way, stop, turn around. You don't even have to take a full step and start skating back the other way, and you don't suffer from that cooldown penalty, which is awesome. When I first saw this, I thought it would have a minimal impact, but once I started playing a few games with it, really love the mobility it gives you, and it works perfect with this particular kind of highly mobile but very fiery, destructive build. Alright Guardians, there you have it. I hope you found this video helpful or useful. If you did, do me a quick favor, smack that like button. It really helps this channel out a lot. And if this is your first time to the channel, first of all, welcome. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button and also turn your notifications on. That way, you will be the first one to be notified whenever I upload another great video like this one. But as always, Guardians, that's going to do it for me. This is LVnative. You guys are awesome, and I will see you in the next one.